Hi, this is Dr. Dave. It's come to my attention that the Google Stock Screener that I asked you to use in Technology Assignment 1 doesn't exist anymore. It disappeared last spring. So what I want to do is go over an alternate one you can use called Finviz. Remember, we have several requirements that we need to have on our companies. The companies must be traded on the New York Stock Exchange. They must offer a dividend yield between 1 and 5%. The beta must be between 0 and 2, and the market capitalization of each of the companies must be at least $1 billion. So let me show you how you can use Finviz to find these companies. It's not as easy as the Google Stock Screener was, but with a little bit of work, we can go ahead and make it usable. So here is Finviz, and to get to Finviz, you're going to have to go to finviz.com, and then you can click on the screener, or you can type in the web address that you see right here. What's really annoying about this site is it is constantly throwing up advertising at us. So you just get used to it. We're not going to be able to get past that. Just X out those things and shut them down. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm on the New York Stock Exchange. If you look right here along the left-hand side, it says Exchange, and I can go down and select the New York Stock Exchange. All right, so what you see is the screen has been updated here to only include things in the New York Stock Exchange. Now we need to have a dividend yield between 1 and 5%. This particular stock screener shows a screen for dividend yield. However, the disadvantage is when you click on it, it doesn't allow you to put it between two numbers. It just says some general ranges. So I'm going to go ahead and select over 1%. So now that I have all of these are things that have a dividend yield over 1%, and now what I'm going to want to do is I want to actually show that dividend yield on here because none of these columns here show that. We can find that under Financial. So click on that Financial tab. So now when I look in the column right here, it says Dividend, and if I go ahead and click at the top of that, now you can see that it's listed starting at 1%, and if we scroll this, you can see that it gets bigger and bigger, and if I go ahead and click along the bottom here, I can get larger and larger dividend yields. At some point it'll exceed 5%, and at that point we wouldn't want to use it anymore. Alright, so now let's go ahead and check for the next thing, which is the beta. To find the beta, you're going to have to go over here to where it says Technical and click on that. So now you see the beta listed along here on the left hand side. Now what we need to do is go ahead and have the beta and screen for that, and probably the easiest way to do that is to go over here to where it says All, and you see it still shows us with our dividend yield over 1%. Now let's go down to beta here, and now we're going to choose a beta between 0 and 2, and unfortunately they don't have a beta between 0 and 2 here. So I'm going to go ahead and click over 0. So now you can see that we've got our beta that's over 0, and of course I can see it increasing, and I can go ahead and make it larger by going to some of these other screens. But probably what I would go ahead and do is, pick something like 3 here, and then go ahead and scroll down, and you'll see it's not getting very fast, so maybe I'll go out to like 20 here. If I scroll down, I can now see my betas are getting a little bit larger. So perhaps I get to a point and I want to try one of these companies. Let's go ahead, and if I put my mouse over it, it will show me what the name of the company is, and I have no idea what some of these companies are, but you could go through and look at some of these. Let's say we want to pick this one right here. If I click on it, it's going to go ahead and show me all the information about it, and then I can make sure that this is actually one of the companies that meets all those requirements. The only one we really haven't done yet is the market capitalization, and if we go backwards we can go ahead and screen for that also. So if I scroll down, I'll also see there's a place here for market cap, and if I click on that, I can see they have lots of possibilities. The only problem here is we're looking for at least 1 billion, and they have over 300 million and then over 2 billion. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this mid here and use that. So what you'll notice now is we have the mid is over 2 billion, the dividend yield is over 1%, and the beta is over 0. That's going to get you into the ballpark for what you're doing. And then you can go ahead, look through what you have down here, and try and pick a company. You could also just start with a company, but more than likely it's probably not going to meet all the requirements. But like I said, you can go through and work through these things and try and find one that works pretty well. So for instance, if I look down here, I see Love, and that's Southwest Airlines right there. So if I click on that, it will bring me up the information for Southwest Airlines. Then I can scroll down here, and now I'm going to go through and check everything. So we know it's on the New York Stock Exchange. Let's see what their dividend yield is. So the dividend yield is 1.04. That works between 1 and 5%. If we scroll down and look around here, we should be able to find the beta somewhere. The beta is way over here. That's 1.10. And then we need a market capitalization of at least 1 billion. And if we look up here, it says the market capitalization is 35.08 billion. So this company would work for one-year companies. Now, the key thing to remember is you want to try and spread out the dividend yields and spread out the betas a little bit. You don't want them all to be about the same place, because we're going to be combining these things, and we want some that are high, some that are low in the ranges that I've given you. So I know these ads are annoying. If they get really annoying, you can look for your own stock screener, but this is the kind of stuff that any stock screener has to do to help you find companies fairly quickly.